I think as a parent, because of social media, we have exposed our kids to too much. Because of technology, we have exposed our kids to too much. And I think that we are desensitizing them and growing them up way too fast. So,
Say, how's the fam?
Found.
What's going on, family? Welcome back to House the Fam. I am joined by a good friend, low key a new friend, but a good one all the same, man. Mr. Julian Luke in the building. So what's up, Julian? How you been, bro?
man, man, I'm good. I'm just getting off of work. So yeah, I'm excited right now.
Yeah.
If you can tell.
You look like you're ready for these 2 weeks to be over, bro.
Man, I am done. I am done. I need sleep and everything else that comes along with sleep.
I was talking to Highsmith at church this weekend, and he was like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
bro." He's like, "We got 2 weeks left, and I'm already checked out. We watching movies for the rest of the year." I was just
Man,
like, "You the pro, bro."
I'm gonna tell you now, like the teacher burnout is like super real this year.
I have
Like
no doubt.
typically we hit that around the Easter spring break season, but
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee you that most of us hit it before, way before Thanksgiving break.
I have no doubt, man. Cause like I only teach once a week, and that
Hmm.
is enough for me to like have absolute respect for what y'all deal with. So
Well, I thank you that you have the respect. That makes me feel good.
no, not just respect, absolute respect. You hear me? Like
Yes,
I
yes.
I be drenched. Like the back of my shirt low key be so. That's why I always wearing black in church. I be like sweaty, sweaty. But that's
Look,
kind of
you
gross.
get drenched in a couple of hours. I that's like one period for me. So yeah.
Yeah, dog. But all that to say, thank you for what you do. For those who don't know what you actually, I have a segment specifically for this. I added a new segment, Julian. It's called "Who's Your Friend?"
Okay.
Because anytime you bring friends around the family, everybody got to know who you bringing, baby. So, Julian, introduce yourself, man. Let the people know who you are.
I have a big laundry list of things, but I'll
Yes, you
start from
do.
the beginning and try to work my way all the way down, man. My name is Julian Luke. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas,
H
and
Town.
I have had a yeah, I've had a long, interesting life. I went to high school, obviously in Houston, but I moved to Virginia for college and lived there for 9 years. While I was there, well, I started DJing when I was 16, and while I was there, I continued DJing as
DJ
well as
Dirty
being in the
South.
marching band, as well as yeah, man. As well as being on the radio for 2 years, as well as gigging on the road for 2 years. And then I met my wife there. And then I went from there to, I started teaching. And I started teaching in St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands. And then came back. And then I was working in a middle school in Beaumont, as well as working at a university at the
Yeah.
same time, as well as doing videography for that university, as well as doing graphic design for that university. And then, I've been teaching ever since.
Yeah,
But no,
man.
my story is pretty extenuous. So, but no, that's who I am.
That's a laundry list if you never heard one. You hear me? So he's a jack of all trades, a merchant of all talents. Julian Luke, everybody. All right, before we go any further, the main event for the day, Loki, this is a great friend of mine, so we are just spitballing it. We're going to figure out what the theme is as we go. Julian, you are Loki, the only person I'm doing this with so far in this entire marathon of interviews, all right? So you are
I
very
feel
special.
special. Thank you.
Now, before we get into our myriad of topics and things of that nature, we have a segment called Just Checking In. Just Checking In is exactly what it sounds like, where you come by and check in with the family. So, Julian, I've gone first for the most part. It's just however your day's been going. I'll go first, and then I'll let you think of one so you can share as well. But my Just Checking In
Okay.
story is I'm debating about getting a nanny. And it's not because of the money thing. It's not because of anything other than like I don't have the time to do the things that I used to do, and I'm trying to like level up. And here's the backstory. All right, here's the backstory, Julian. I spend close to 4.5 hours every week doing laundry. Like it's something around there. Like the washing part, anybody can wash laundry. I can get my kids to wash laundry. Folding them and putting them where they're supposed to be is beyond the full-time job that I'm willing to do. All right. So I
Okay.
actually like in Rockwall recently, a laundry service came around. They were just like, "Yo, you drop it off, we'll pick it up. We'll rock it out like that." And so it takes them 2 days to
Really?
fold those clothes. Yes, it takes them 2 days to fold the clothes, which is faster than me. Because not only is it it's like 4.5 hours, but it's like 3 days, 3-4 days of work. So it's almost like I'm always dealing with clothes, and they fold all those clothes in less than 48 hours, and it's
We got to talk
incredible.
about that.
Right. And then also Keisha, like we were getting the house clean a little bit for like a little while. And I'm not gonna lie, man. There's something about coming home and it being like beyond spotless. Like, here's the thing, like you clean your own house, it's all good. Like, the house will be clean. But like she gets on top of the refrigerator, she gets the baseboards every week. She hits like the spots nobody really thinks of. And she even tells me like, "Yo, it's time to change your filter." And you know what? It'd be time to change the filter. I'll be having it on my phone, and she'll be like, "Yeah, it's time to change the filter." I see it collecting a little dust, and I'm like, I must admit, it's kind of nice. But once you add up all like and then we have Naomi and daycare. So I'm looking at like we got Naomi and daycare. So I got the laundry, we got the cleaners, like and it like and all of this adds up to where I was like, one person could potentially be able to do all of this. So I'm debating it. I don't know if I'm there yet. I think I'm cool with just keeping it all separate. But because like having somebody in your house that often is kind of intimate. But it's just something I'm debating, and that's my just checking in story. Now, Julian, what
Okay.
just checking in, bro? What you got?
Uh, See, man, I don't know mine if mine is gonna be as jovial as yours, man. But I guess for me, I'm really debating on whether I want to keep teaching or not. Uh,
Whoa! Is it
yeah,
that gangster?
yeah.
The gangster's chasing you out, or what? Is it the kids?
Well, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been teaching for 10 years, man, and
Yeah.
and I will say that kids have changed. The
Okay.
the the way that kids have developed over the years, because you got to remember 10 years ago, social media wasn't the same, technology wasn't the same. It has advanced a lot in 10 years. And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
with that, the development of kids has actually changed. And then, COVID has been a thing. So the 2 years that we were out for COVID. And so, I don't know, man. It's like, I really, because I have three kids at home and I have my
Yeah.
wife and blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. So, I realize, I spend a lot of time with other people's kids.
Yeah.
And,
You do.
I want to be able to spend my time with with my own kids.
Yeah.
Because then I start to think about it, because I am a band director, so I'm not just a teacher, I'm a band director. So there are a lot of hours that are required for me that are after school hours,
Yeah.
that a lot of teachers don't really have to deal with. Math teachers, social studies teachers, science teachers, so on and so forth.
Hmm.
And so I'm really starting to reevaluate, like, you know could I be doing something different that will give me a little bit more time, maybe be a little bit more stress free.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's still a thought, not anything that's etched in stone yet, but it is a thought.
That's insane. You're walking away from the
Hey,
game. Are you considering walking away from the
hey,
game?
man,
10 years in.
10 years, 10 years. I'm not even close to retirement yet, but yeah, 10 years in, and I don't know, man. Like I said, you may be right, man. They tested my gangster. I think the gangster is going out of me, man.
Man, that's wild, bro. That was insightful, y'all. And that has been just checking in. All right, y'all. Before we go any further, we actually do have a sponsor for this episode, and that is Pray Plan Execute. Okay, Pray Plan Execute is a faith-based apparel brand, and it's exactly what I have on today. This is that God's Son tee. Okay, he also has the God's Daughter tee, as well as shirts that just say Pray Plan Execute. This brand was built off of the simple concept that you have to pray for your purpose, right? Once that purpose is given to you, you have to actually plan it out. Take the time and make sure that you are prepared to execute what God has given you. And through that, you're able to find your purpose and you're able to find fulfillment, okay? Now, for those of you who are on your ground, for those of you who are searching for your purpose, you should check out a brand like this. That way you can wear your faith out loud. And then you can always have a constant reminder that, yes, you must always pray, then you must plan, and then you must execute. Y'all, in fact, go to PrayPlanExecute.Shop right now. Now, just pause it. Go to PrayPlanExecute.Shop right now. Find the long sleeve Pray Plan Execute hoodie, either black or white. Hit checkout, and I have something for you. You can use code FAM. That is code FAM, FAM, at checkout, and that will give you a nice percentage off, okay? And that's on the family. You know, it's only for the family. So go to PrayPlanExecute.Shop and then get the long sleeve, or you can get this one. This is the fall collection, God's Son, aka or God's Daughter T. And then check out using code FAM, FAM. Again, Pray Plan Execute is more than a brand, it's a lifestyle. And now we're on to the main event. Julian, I gotta talk more
Uh-oh.
about what you talked about, man. You was talking about pretty more or less you said yesterday's kids ain't today's kids. Can you elaborate a little more?
Well, when and I can only go off of, one, my experiences, so it
Oh,
really is
oh, one
anecdotal.
second, one
But
second, one second. Let me protect both of us. All right. Julian is about to talk about his own personal experience. What he's about to talk about is not a reflection of his employer. It's not a reflection of his profession. It is simply his perspective. Okay. And with all that being said, go ahead, Julian. I hate to interrupt.
thank No, you good. You cleared that up because that was definitely necessary. But no, it's definitely an anecdotal thought and an experience. But with me teaching for 10 years, like I said, kids now, there's a respect level that has just completely changed
Mm,
in a lot of kids. Um, and with that respect level happening, then you also have to take in the 2 years where kids were in the pandemic. So if you really
yeah.
unpack that, we have to really look at this. So if a kid was in fifth grade at the beginning of the pandemic,
Okay.
they're literally in seventh grade now. So they had two
Time, boy.
years of they had 2 year a 2 year span of getting absolutely no consensus of what real education or being inside of a classroom is like. So their mindset is still on fifth grade. While you may have a seventh grade teacher who's really dealing with the mindset of a fifth grader,
Mm,
trying to relearn and reacclimate and reteach. And so when you look at it from that dynamic, you realize that it's a lot more stressful than, unfortunately, what it's been in the past. And the thing about education that I'm starting to realize, and like I said, this is just an anecdotal experience,
it's
but
fair. It's
from
fair.
my perception, it's like we're not making real changes. We're trying to make sure that the data looks good, and we're trying to make sure that the kids are in the seat so that we can collect the money to make sure the attendance is there so we can collect the money, which is whatever. My thing is this really helping the student? Are we
Ooh,
truly looking to help the student, or are we just trying to continue going through the same process without actually coming up with true and real results? There are cracks in the foundation, and unfortunately, these cracks are now becoming now full breakage, and they're separating. And I feel like as an educator, and in the actual seats and in the actual position, um, there's a lot of problems, and I don't think that we're really solving them. I think that we're just letting them go. And so, and one of the things that really bugs me as far as a teacher is the student aspect. Are we really there for the students? Because social media has changed these kids.
you ain't lying.
The attention span of a kid is like, I think, point something. Like it's not even 2, 3, 4%. It's like point something at this
Yeah.
point. Um,
I think on
you
TikTok they
know,
say the average view duration of a TikTok is 0.25 seconds or something. It was something crazy. It was like a
yeah,
fraction of a
and
second.
exactly. And but this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the idea that now that yes, we need to advance education. As we look at education, we need to also incorporate technology into that. Absolutely. I don't think that that's something that you shouldn't do, but I also believe that we have to figure out a way to be able to monitor how we deal with cell phones. I mean, even as a teacher, one of the things that bothers me is the cell phone issue. We deal with cell phone issues on a consistent basis, and I'm
I
always
have no
thinking to
doubt.
myself, like, I'm always thinking to myself, and I'm a parent, you're a parent, right? And I'm always like, I get frustrated when I'm sitting in the middle of a class and a parent calls the student. Like, why are you calling
Oh, the
your kid in the
parents.
middle of class?
That used to happen
Yes,
when I was in school. I was
but
like, me and you
but
ain't
you didn't work.
we
But you
were on the
weren't in
same
school
page.
during the cell phone era, right? You were in. But if a parent used to call, they would call the front office. Like, that's
Mm,
the difference. If a student was needed, whether it was emergency or whatever, the student would get called from the front office. I've literally been sitting in class where a student got called from a parent, and then they were like, "Yeah, it's my mom. She's just trying to ask me how my day is going." You know, and that within itself is an issue. But then we have the TikToks and the Instagrams and the Snapchats where all these kids are trying to do all these latest Snapchat dances and TikTok dances
yeah.
in the middle of class. Like, and then, like I said, there's a perspective of the fact that these kids, when it comes to authority, is different. You ask them to put away and it becomes why, instead
Mm,
of okay, I got you. Or they know what the whatever cell phone policy is in place in that particular school,
yeah.
and instead of adhering to the cell phone policy, it's I'm going to pull it out, I'm going to watch what I want to watch, look at what I want to look at in the middle of class. So I mean, it's a large gambit of things. With a lot of unanswered questions, with a lot of, like I said, foundations that need to either be sealed or rebuilt. Yeah, it can go for hours. I'll put it that
You
way.
you gave me like so many thoughts just then. I'm a transition like you. Yeah, you're right. Like the phone. What was the issue when I was a kid? The main thing people were worried about was video games, right? They was like, hey, y'all need to
Right.
watch out kids who are playing Grand Theft Auto because they're doing these things in this game that may transition into real life. And
Mm-hmm.
now you're starting to find like, yeah, the TikTok is a thing, right? Like I think one of the recent trends was like kids would go into their bathroom at school and they would literally like wreck it. I forgot what it was called, but they were like wreck it. I'm talking tissue, I'm talking feces, I'm talking pee, and then they just like leave, knowing that the
It was
janitors
a
essentially
TikTok
were,
challenge.
yeah, it was just a
Mm-hmm.
challenge. And knowing that, like, yo, the janitor got to clean that up and stuff like that. So you're 100% right. It is an issue. Now, my question is, those are issues we've had to deal with. Now, I don't know if people know, but like, are you aware of the metaverse?
I think I've heard about that before.
So, all right,
I
this is
have. I've
so
heard the term.
so you're one of the few people who said like you're willing to talk about current events, right? And so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna throw it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna see what you think. So the metaverse is like Facebook's way of low key taking the heat off of themselves, right? And so that's my daughter, y'all.
Yeah.
But Meta, like Facebook changed their name to Meta. They're trying to take the heat off of like the Facebook brand off of themselves. But what the metaverse is more or less like the next generation of the internet, right? Instead of you
Mm-hmm.
know being able to buy these digital products on video games and only being able to play with them on video games, or instead of having like social media and interacting with each other's avatar via social media, you can actually create a like humanoid in like this world, and then you can buy things for your humanoid, and that will be like your representation in this digital world. Now, I say that to a lot of people, and they're just like, "Hey, that don't sound like what's that doesn't sound like that's what's up to me." But you got to consider like social media to our parents initially that wasn't what was up to them. But we looked at social media, it was like, oh yeah, this is the move. So I don't think the metaverse is for us. I think it's for our kids. And so that brings me to the point of if we haven't controlled cell phones and social media to this point, what are your expectations for the next wave of the internet, which is like the metaverse?
So I'm gonna tell you something that my mother said to me. Um,
Let's
that
get it.
I when I was a kid I didn't get. As I got older, I found it very profound.
Okay.
My mother said, "You have to understand, son, that whatever they put in the movies will come true." And
That's
when I
interesting.
thought about that, I didn't really connect with that. But if you look at what was that
Some.
television show that used to come on about
Oh, you
the
said sure. I'm about to
family
say
that had the robot
the Jetsons.
that was like, well, not the Jetsons. It was a live action show, but they had a robot and they lived out in space and all that kind of stuff. But my
Oh,
point is, when she was younger, that show came on, and for them, that was like, oh wow, a robot, right? But now, if we look at our technology and how it's advanced, I mean, we have AI naturally in our
powering
in our environment,
everything, everything.
everything, right? So what I'm just saying all that to say, even if you look at social media, and I feel it's funny when I get around my other group of friends, we talk about how great social media was when we were younger, right? Because the original social media platform for us was America Online, and that's kind of where it started
I
from,
feel
the
you. I
dial
feel
up,
you.
and we got excited for that, right? But now
Yeah.
these kids are on a completely different wave than what
Oh
we
yeah.
were. So in essence, I personally have a problem with it because I think at some point we have to say, when is enough enough?
Mm.
Because it at some point I think that it does get dangerous. At some point I think that it does kind of in some ways tie into our freedoms and our liberties and all that kind of stuff, because I do believe in the thing called Big Brother. I think that they are watching. I think
Oh
that
yeah.
they all can
Without doubt.
follow us and all that kind of stuff, right? So with all that being said, I think that there has to be a point and there has to be a line, and I think that we keep searching for these different ways to push the envelope, but we have to think that there is a line. I agree with you. I don't think that metaverse is for us. I think it is for our kids. But as me having a child, I don't even know if I would want them to invest in it. I mean, let's keep it a buck. My best friend gets on me because my kids, the games that they play are the games that I play. My kids
I
play Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, and Genesis. That's
I
as far as
remember.
they go.
Yeah,
They
you
don't
came
touch my
over.
PS4. Yeah. They don't touch my PS4. Why? It's not that I'm trying to keep them in the past. I just believe that there's a line, and at certain ages I think that we have to be cognizant of the fact that I think as a parent, because of social media, we have exposed our kids to too much. Because of technology, we have exposed our kids to too much, and I think that we are desensitizing them and growing them up way too fast. So that's my personal opinion.
That's
I
what's
could
up,
be
man.
massively wrong though.
No, I mean, like you say, it's just your opinion. It's just your thoughts. So, you did mention one of the ways you guard your children away from like today's technology and some of the predatory, what I consider some of the predatory acts of like social media and things of that nature. Are there any other parenting tips that you recommend for parents kind of operating in this technological age?
Man, I I'm not gonna tell anybody to be me, but what I will say is this is my biggest thing. Just be responsible and take accountability.
Mm,
And let your kids be kids. I think that is really one of the things that, as even me as a teacher, I'm seeing that is really hurting us.
yeah,
We are growing our kids up too fast. We have forgotten about the idea of letting a child just be a child and be in that happy-go-lucky space.
yeah,
So as it pertains to technology, I know that I don't let my kids listen to hip hop. I don't, because today's rap music is not the same as what we grew up with in most cases. So like people would like to make the argument, well, you came up with Notorious B.I.G. and blah 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 blah. And I'll say, yeah, we did. But you know the difference? They were radio edits. The idea of a radio edit is not even the same.
yeah.
Like
It's
if
true.
if we go back and listen to Snoop Dogg's Dog Pound, all of the all most of those songs were redone for the radio. Not they put the actual version on and just put some blanks in there. So I just say be accountable, be responsible, and let kids be kids. And I'm there. I don't think there's a perfect way to parent. I just think that you have to stick to what you feel accountability and responsibility looks like, and not try to you know throw them out and make them be so adult so quick. I mean, that's just my thoughts though.
Great, 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 great conversation so far. Um, Along with you're one of the few people I've who have as many kids as me. There's only one person I know, like, well, actually, it's two people I know who have more kids than me. One of which we both know, and the other who is my line brother. So let's go ahead and pivot one more time. Let's talk about married life, bro. Let's talk about married. Hey, do you
Uh,
want to talk? Actually, let's talk about HBCUs. Because I feel like everybody who hops
okay.
on this podcast talks about married life. We'll talk about both.
Okay,
Um,
that's fine. I can go into both.
yeah,
Everybody may not agree with me, but we
let's
can go
go
to
into
both.
both. You have a podcast, Talk That Talk podcast,
Mhm.
found on YouTube. Actually, I'll let you go ahead and plug Talk That Talk. Go ahead.
Well, I have a show called Talk That Talk on YouTube. It's actually under Real Talk That Talk. And what we do is we talk about, well, we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversations about HBCU, band, music education, band culture, all of that. And, we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And we go for a very long time. As I told you
Four
before,
hours.
we went 4 hours last night, man. Started at 7:15, and I think we ended at around 11:07, somewhere around there. So yeah,
Yeah, that's incredible. I'm 100. I'm so happy that you actually started it. I wasn't expecting you guys to be running 4 hours, but it is extremely impressive and low key extremely motivating too. I just saw that you hit 200 subscribers, so congrats to you.
yeah.
By the time you
Thanks,
see this
man.
next year,
Hey,
you'll be at that 1K.
I'm gonna say this right now. See, you saying this, but I wouldn't have started if it wasn't for you, right? Because like for
Ah,
me, it
you
was just
would
an
have.
idea, bro. No, it was just an idea, but then you were like, man, just do it. And
Yeah.
hey, I took your advice. So no, I kudos to you, man. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have started it at all.
Hey, well, I will take it. Thank you. And also, I'm extremely happy that you actually took the advice and ran with it, bro. I can't wait to see where you guys will be. Not even like a year, like 3 months from now, you guys are gonna be on a whole different trajectory. Um, I was
Thanks,
gonna
man.
ask, like, you guys talk a lot about band culture in general. I want you to
Mhm.
say three incredible things about band culture, but for each incredible thing, I want actually my bad. For each incredible thing, I want you to couple it with two bad things. So one good, one bad, one good, one bad, and then end with a good. That makes sense. Three
Well, I mean,
good,
I
two
yeah.
bad. Balance.
So
That makes
good, bad, good, basically.
good,
All
bad,
right, got you.
good, bad. Huh? Good, bad, good. Good, bad, good, bad,
Good,
good. Yeah.
bad, good, bad, good. Yeah, I
Yes.
was right.
That's it.
So,
You got it.
are we talking specifically HBCU band culture, or are we just talking about band culture in general?
Hey man, it's your world. I'm just living in it. That is his quote.
All
I
right,
just got
so
to use it on him. Go
I
ahead, say
use
that.
that.
It's all you, bro. Yeah, you used that
Okay.
today when I was setting you up for the interview. I was like, "Yo, Julie, what you want to talk about?" And you just like, "Hey, man, it's whatever, man. It's your world. I'm just in it." I was just like, "I'm gonna
Hey,
use that on him."
I just say a bunch of I say a bunch of stuff that just pops in my head, man. So hey, you got it. You can keep it. Uh, as far as band culture, though, man, I would say band culture. One of the things that I really love about band culture is it's a complete family.
Hmm.
I met my wife in band. My best friend is from my university band. My other best friend is from my high school band. And so I 100% enjoy the family unit that is a part of band culture. One of the bad things, though, as far as that is, I can also say that it, in some ways, can be in more or less the HBCU realm. It can be kind of toxic
Yeah.
because we become very very sentimental and possessive of our organizations.
Hmm.
So much so that and a lot of times we refuse to open our minds to any other concepts.
Yeah.
Um, and that can leave a lot of people to feel like they are secluded or moving themselves away, and you see a lot of African American, well, HBCU band members. I'm not gonna say African American, but HBCU band members really kind of in a dissension as it pertains to like band culture, because we are so possessive of either our school, our band, or a certain part of band culture. Um, Another great thing I really enjoy about band is travel. I
Oh, you
would
ain't
not
lying.
have seen so much of the world if I wasn't were not in band.
Yeah.
I mean, if I go back to high school, my first trip to New Jersey was with the NAJE that doesn't exist anymore. But we went to New Jersey for the Jazz Festival. I went back to New York my senior year for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Because I went to Virginia, I've traveled to North Carolina, and
Mm.
I went to Detroit and
Yep.
DC and all these different places that I would have never ever set foot in had I not been in band.
That's
So
awesome.
traveling is definitely amazing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
let's see, a negative though. Another negative is I can tell you that band can be massively time consuming.
Man, you ain't
Um,
lying. Whew.
as a person who you know my Greek affiliation is pretty wide because I'm a member of dang near everything. But as a person who, when I got out of high school, I knew coming out of high school, I wanted to be a member of KK Psi and I wanted to be a member of Alpha Phi Alpha and
Mhm.
I wanted to be a member of Phi Mu Alpha. It was really difficult for me to even participate in a lot of things because I was with the band all the time, but I was also
Yeah.
considered to be a leader in a lot of respects. And so the expectation was that I was always there. Like during homecoming week, we're always practicing. But
Mhm.
you want to go to the homecoming parties, or you want to go to the step shows, or you want to go to this and that, and we were
But
on the
practice don't
field while
end
we
till
see
12.
everybody else, right? So that was frustrating enough. And then even when I was trying to get good with alphas in undergrad,
Mhm.
they would be having a probate, and we would be on the field practicing. I remember my last year marching in '06, just happened to be '06. I remember I was I'd kind of grown a little too old of the band, but I remember the Alphas were having their centennial line,
Mhm.
and I remember they marched past. They did their death march past the plot, and on Norfolk State's campus, the plot is right next to the band practice field.
Okay.
And so I looked at my section leader and I said, "Hey, I'm going to that probate. I'm not missing this probate." And he was like, "All right, go ahead and go." And I literally ran off the field and ran to put my horn up to make it to the probate. But any
That's a
other
lot of effort.
year, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I just happened to be able to do that because I had already had years in the band. So yeah, band takes up a lot of time, and I definitely can attest to that. I think this is what my final good thing.
Yeah, it's the last good
Um,
thing right here.
okay, well, I mean, if I'm gonna keep it 100, there are a lot of girls in the band. As a
Beautiful women too.
as a young as yeah, as a young guy coming through, you got your pick of the litter, man. I'm gonna stop looking at me like that. My wife is looking at me, but
Man, Keisha be doing that same thing, man. I'm like, Keisha, leave me alone, man.
but she acting like I didn't meet her in the band. But
Yeah, yeah.
but no, I mean, I it's funny, and I know this seems bad, but I usually a couple of times I've had students who were like, "Well, Mr. Luke, man, I play basketball and I like band too. I just don't know which one to pick." And I'm like, "Hey, man, you got a choice. You can go hang around these boys and play a whole bunch of basketball with boys, or you can come in this band where all the girls is at. You can hang out with the girls, and when you get into high school and college band, the girls gonna be with you because you got the dance girls and stuff. I mean, hey, y'all travel together." So I think that was, for me, that was
The
one of the great
determining
things that I
factor.
really enjoyed about it is that you know yeah, man, you got your pick of the litter, man. You can either pick the one that plays flute or clarinet, or you can go down to the dance line or the flag line. You can find one. There's no way you
It's
can come
somebody
out
for
of band
everybody.
and not at least have one girl. Right. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
that's
It's
funny,
it's a lot of love in that room, man.
It's
So
honest,
yeah,
you know,
that's
it's
that's
honest too.
that's
It's
my.
honest. But you
Hey,
know what's wild?
I'm gonna
I
be
met my
100
wife.
percent honest.
Yeah, I met my wife in band too, so I can't even talk. Yeah,
There you go.
the
With
flute
a
player.
defense rest. There you go. See, and my wife played
Oh,
clarinet, so
that's awesome, man. Hey, real talk. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we wrap it up?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I knew you were gonna bring up that marriage thing, but I mean, if you don't want to go into that, that's cool.
But all right, do you want to actually go ahead give the people some tips about marriage, bro? Like, how do you know when you found the one, and then once you found the one, how do you lock it down and enjoy happily ever after?
See, and that's why I said a lot of people might not listen to me after this. I'm gonna be honest. I don't believe in the one. I believe in the one that you
Ooh,
make it work with. Because
explain.
there are, well, there are billions of people on this world in this world, right?
Okay,
And I don't really subscribe to the idea that you're only connected to one person, right?
okay,
Because we make connections all the time. We make connections every day, and no marriage is perfect. No relationship is perfect. And
that's true.
sometimes we get I think sometimes we get caught up in this Cinderella, Beauty and the Beast, Snow White idea of what relationships and marriage should be. And the reality is marriage and relationships are work. They're work. It is You have to put work in it to be able to garner some success out of it. And so when I say I don't believe in the one, it's because the idea of the one means that this is the perfect person for me, and there is no way that we will ever have any, issues, and I just don't believe in that.
Okay,
You're always going to have issues, but it's whether you're willing to make it work with that, particular person.
okay. Yo, man. And so, how do you make? All right, dang, you just answered all three in the most elegant way I think I've heard anybody do it. That's impressive. How do you find the? You were like, no, forget your question. Here's mine. That's
Well, I'm sorry,
awesome,
man. I
man.
didn't mean to take your question off, man. I'm
No,
my
no, you
bad. My
good, bro.
bad.
You good. This has been an incredible episode. Number one, I want to thank you before I get into this whole spiel. I know you taking a little time out your day. Like you are a busy person, 3 kids.
Yeah.
You got you heard the laundry list of jobs this man has had, and he just did 4 hours on a live stream. You hear me?
Yeah.
I talk for 2 minutes and I low key be like, you know what? I need some water. What the water is. So yo, bro, thank you for taking some time out here, slumming it out with me. We like to end the show with a segment called Words of Encouragement. And so I'm gonna let you formulate some words of encouragement that you're gonna lead the people with. And I'm gonna do this
Mhm.
little spiel. Cool? You got it?
Yeah. Yeah. I got you.
Cool. So my words of encouragement for the people is if you made it this far into the video, please make sure you leave a like. All right. Not only that, make sure you share it with somebody who can enjoy this message from this episode. We talked about the whole gamut, the whole spectrum. Somebody is gonna find value in this episode, and you know exactly who it is. So make sure you share the video with somebody. And also, make sure you leave a comment below. I read any and all comments, and yeah, man, just let us know what you want us to talk about. And make sure you check out PrayPlanExecute.Shop. Use code FAM at checkout. Again, go to PrayPlanExecute.Shop and use code FAM FAM at checkout. And make sure you enjoy that discount. Now, my true words of encouragement is focus. And I say focus because like that's one of the things that's like pressing on my mind. Like when I decided to do these 25 videos over 25 days, I knew it was gonna be a lot of work. I did. I was like, yeah, like this I ain't never did this before. It's gonna stretch me a little bit. But I didn't realize how focused it was gonna make me. Like in order to make this actually happen and get sleep and be the father that I want to be and be the husband that I want to be, like I have to be organized. I have to do this. I have to do that. And when I'm at work, I have to be at work. When I'm at home, I have to be at home. And like all this, none of this comes together without having a focus, right? My focus is to give you guys this content, be the father that I want to be the husband that I want to be. And like through it all, I recognize that without that focus, my whole life would be like in shambles right now. But so far, so good. So whatever your goal is, whatever your objective is, whatever your purpose is, make sure you laser focus on what you want to accomplish. That way we can fulfill what we're here to do. Now, Julian, you got any words of encouragement for the people?
I mean, you kind of said it, man. I'll reiterate, man. Find your purpose. You know, find your purpose and move towards your purpose. God put us here for a purpose. We all have a purpose. We all have a reason on why we are here. And when you find that purpose and you focus on that purpose, everything will fall into place. Will it be hard? Yes. But when you're focused on that purpose and you're moving in that purpose, everything works out for the good, man. So find your purpose, establish that purpose, work towards the purpose, and you'll be successful.
Julian, I couldn't have said it any better myself, man. Thank you for coming by. Everybody, thank you guys for showing up. Fam's all good over here. Y'all be blessed.